and it hasn't changed in what's now been 10 years. We're all about trying to help you succeed in this ever-changing business, and anything we can do that's not illegal or immoral, that's what we're all about. Okay, um, let's get right into it. Here's what we're going to cover today. To the best of my ability, based on your reporting, I will share with you the contest results to date. The contest goes on for another 15 days. Again, it's only for our agents. $750 first place prize, and second and third place prize as well. $500 and $250. I'll show you what I know, but again, I can only know what you report. So I will get you up to speed on that. What I know about the top producers from the last week, I only had one person send me a report, and that was on life insurance business written, but I know there's got to be a bunch of Medicare business being written, and that all counts in the contest. The 2025 tax deduction numbers came out this week, and we got them hot off the presses. I'm sure there'll be plenty of news about them in the next few weeks, but I wanted you to have them before anybody else, and so you'll be able to get them out to your current clients and or potential prospects. Then we'll hear from the one and only Mr. Claude Fowl and his corner about what's happening in the life insurance business. November is LTC Awareness Month, and all the carriers are coming out with webinars and materials and ways to promote that. And I'll share some of that with you. Some carrier updates and some news you can use, some observations from the field. A little piece I wrote on what success looks like in today's market, and then we'll entertain any questions. Okay. The only business I know about is Abe, who's been on fire with life insurance lately, but he wrote 2 more life insurance policies this last week for $3,348. And Abe's sort of semi-retired, but he keeps finding new business out there from his prospects and their referrals. So congrats to Abe. Again, I assume most people are completely caught up in the AEP, so they just didn't have time to report yet, but we'll get that to you. Again, going to the contest, Abe, because he's been so consistent in all business counts except for Medicare Advantage, Abe would have to be in first place, so that would make him eligible for $750 come whatever the stats are on November 15th. Second place would be Lori, and third place right now would be Hank Ellis. Again, obviously everything's up for grabs. It's going to count all senior supplemental business, and with the exception of Medicare Advantage, everything counts toward the contest, the 3 prizes, and then it'll be rewarded by NAAS probably right after Thanksgiving. All right. Here we go. Hot off the presses. Here's a link that will take you to the full report. I will make sure that's included in the email that comes out with this recording of this tape. You should open it because there's some more information on it. You can see that the deductions have gone up a little bit. If you're under 40, you can get deducted as much as $480, 41 to 50, $900. 71 plus is going to $6,020 of premium. Again, as long as you have medical expenses that average 7.5% of your overall tax number. The other number that went up is the per diem that you can get tax-free per month, or per day. Actually, it's $420 per day, which comes out to about $12,700 a month that you can deduct, or not deduct, that you don't have to claim or pay any taxes on. So again, all that information is on this link. I highly recommend you open it and share it with all your clients, share it with your prospects, let them see one of the many perks of getting a long-term care solution in place, and the deductions they can earn because of it. And again, you can pay for it with before tax money. If you use HSA funds or if you use qualified money, you can pay for this and not have to worry about paying money on the on the monies you pay toward the premium. And then because the premium or the benefits are tax-free, you get that without tax consequences as well. All right. let's get into our
I'm gonna,
special guest. What was that, Claude? Somebody said something?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have an opinion on what I was saying? No? Okay.
Oh,
Um,
well, it's good to hear those, the numbers went up about 3%, which is, you know, um, not surprising, but useful.
useful. Okay. And we need
I'm moving
anything
away
that's,
from the room my wife's in.
oh, okay. We need anything that's useful in today's market. Um, all right. So every once a month we hear from Claude, and today's the first call of the month. So we'll hear from him, and it's always a privilege. Claude, I'm going to turn it over to you. Do you need to take control, or you want me to give it to you? However,
I
we can
will.
do it. Okay. Let me go over here.
I will do. I will share. So, a couple of
Tell me what.
things. First
There
of
you
all, I
go.
hope everybody's having a good holiday season. And one thing that's of interest, as you know, the link benefit market has been very competitive. And State Life just came out with a new product. So I had done some analysis that some of you received and some of you may not have, but basically you can see it in the large type here. State Life, I call them State Life. Some people call them One America, obviously. The reason I call them State Life is because that's the name of the company on the insurance paper, right? Anyway, they're still the go-to insurer for an endless benefit period. They are the only link benefit that has an endless benefit period. NPL is the only standalone long-term care insurance policy with an endless benefit period. They still have, the most favorable underwriting of any linked benefit product, not for every condition, but in general, they are certainly the most favorable in underwriting. And they have the smoothest process for using annuity money to pay for not only the annuitant, but also the annuitant's spouse. So those are really nice ways that they've dominated for many years. In the last year, Nationwide was the most competitive product in most other circumstances, and but that's not so true anymore. Nationwide is still the most competitive with joint coverage, but with individual coverage, not so much anymore. In most jurisdictions, if you're looking at limited pay, the Lincoln National Money Guard Fixed Advantage, which goes up to 10 pay, or the Bright House Smart Care, which goes up to 5 pay, are the best. But except above age 70, I think you might find that State Life's new product is more competitive than those. Lincoln is clearly best for smokers because it has the same price regardless of tobacco use. And then if you're looking at single people and you want lifetime pay, the new State Life is generally more competitive than the Nationwide now. But as I said, Nationwide has the best joint coverage, and Securian sometimes has the most competitive policy for somebody in some jurisdictions. And I noted that the new State Life product is available in the states that are indicated here, and Bright House has the best link benefit product in New York. I don't know if there's any questions about that. I'll pause to see if anybody
I don't have
wants
any
to ask a
questions, but
question
my
about that.
comments are Bright House seems to be gaining a little bit more traction in the marketplace. So um, I don't know if it's the more
Yeah,
liberal
they
underwriting.
do, and I haven't had enough opportunity to test their underwriting. They say that they're more liberal than everybody other than State Life, but they also have what seems to be a nice process for issuing the policy. You give them an illustration and you give them a short questionnaire, and then they do the application. And next thing you do is you just DocuSign. So that seems to be a good process.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So
It
the
was quick.
second topic
Didn't Ape
is
sell Bright House, Claude? Ape sold a Bright House recently, a couple Bright Houses, right?
Abe sold a Bright House. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Sorry.
as I said, in New York, Bright House is definitely the best, no question about it. So one of the other things that you and I had talked about is structured settlements, viaticals, however you want to call them. So as you can see my screen now, right?
Yeah. So
So
can you make it
you can
larger? I
see
don't
that
know.
I'm involved.
I'm trying to make it larger, but it's not. I'm as large as I can get. It's a little small. Can you see it, Michael? Did you see it, Walt? Somebody can answer.
I'm in trouble
Michael or
making it
Walt, can you
larger.
see the screen?
I can see it.
You can?
I can see it. You
Okay.
zoom into it, you can see it.
I can see
Yeah.
it.
Parts of it.
They can see it. There you go.
I made it a little bit larger. If you go to quoting down here on the left, right, it's third up from the bottom in boss, and then you go to more quoting options. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, wrong place. Go to forms. Okay, if you go to forms, then on the right, you'll see here life settlement. One says it's a pre-qualification worksheet. One says it's an application. The labels could be a little bit confusing. What's really good is to send us both of them. So the pre-qualification worksheet, it's a PDF. You just open it up, and it basically asks questions so you can determine whether your client with their policy is a good prospect for a life settlement. If they are a good settlement, this PDF, it says it's an application. It's not really an application. It's just another fact finder. And what it is the form you send to us, and then we go out to several different markets to find the best life settlement quote we can find for you. When you send this to us, unfortunately, it's really best to send both of these documents because there's at least one question here on the pre-qualification worksheet that we need to have answered that isn't on the so-called application. So you fill this out, see if they're a good candidate. You fill them both out along with an in-force illustration showing us what it would take to keep the policy, in force age 100, basically. And when you send those out, we'll go out to market and get you the best life settlement rate we can find. So there's a real opportunity there for providing good service to clients and, of course, getting compensated for doing so. Are there any questions about that?
Let me just add this. I continue to encourage Claude to share this information about the life settlement opportunity because I've done a couple of them. And they can be pretty lucrative if you do them right. I did one for a couple million and I did one for $500,000. And again, I have some sources outside of Back Nine, but my sources are just good to compare against what Claude can find because frankly, you want to know what's the best offer you can get for your client. There's two ways that you can cash in on a life settlement opportunity. One is through the actual commissions paid to you for the referral of the sale. Again, it's all usually handled by, in this case, Back Nine or whoever the broker is that's going to take care of getting the highest bid possible in the market. And in the cases I did, they were both on term, by the way. So to me, that's really impressive. Why anybody would let a term policy lapse when it has a value in the secondary market is beyond me. Second, the experience is enriched by the fact that you get paid the commission on the conversion of the term policy to a whole life policy. So when a broker buys a whole life, a life policy, if it's term, they have to convert it to whole life before they're going to purchase it because they can't have the policy expire on them. So you get the life commissions on the conversion of that policy, and that's been in the tens of thousands of dollars in each of the cases that I've worked on. So again, there's a lot of money in these things, and frankly, your clients don't know who to trust. They see lots of commercials, that should suggest that there's a gold mine in that life insurance policy that they're sitting on that they got when they were worried about college for their kids or an inheritance when they were younger for their family or whatever, but they no longer need. And again, many I can't even start to count how many billions of dollars of benefits get lapsed simply because they let the term policy lapse instead of finding out what the market value is. And it's a commodity like any other. So, to Claude's point, are there any questions at all? Because it's a missed opportunity if you're not at least letting your clients know you are a conduit for this. Okay. No questions, Lon. Michael and Walter don't have questions.
No, it's great information, and it's good to reprise this stuff because it's really omnipresent on everybody's life that we know, that these things are out there and it should be taken advantage of. And
Yeah,
especially with this prequel and the capacity, the net that Claude can cast is immense. So
here's what I learned, Michael. This is a very, very, very small market. There may be a couple hundred investors in the country that look to buy these things and bid on these things. So it's a small market. Everybody knows most of the people that are in it, but because it's a small market, you don't know where the opportunity is going to come from, where you might get an offer that someone else might not be aware of to bring to your attention. So,
when in its infancy, I mean, this must be 12 years ago plus. I was fortunate enough to get involved in one of these things, and it was the easiest money. It was a split case, and my side of it was 40 grand. I mean,
right. There you go.
You know,
And that's the truth. And I think it's something like 93% of all term policies lapse without ever paying a death benefit. So again, that's just money thrown away.
What's great about this is Claude showed us the questions to ask. He showed us the form with the questions to ask to
Yep.
see if they're really a candidate, because they do have to have some maladies, right?
No,
generally
they don't have to.
speaking.
No. But the sicker they are, the more money they're going to get. The
Right.
quicker you're going to die, the more money you're going to get. Now, you don't
Right.
actually have to die.
Okay.
It's just what the actuarial tables and the projected lifespan says about whatever illness or about your health that you might have. So it definitely is impacted by how sick you are. I have an example of one that I saw where a guy had like a $40 million life insurance policy. He had borrowed about $9 million out of the policy. He ended up selling the policy for like $11.5 million, paid off the $9 million, was left with $2.5 million. But again, the fee on that $2.5 million was considerable.
Yeah.
So again, there's just all kinds of monies that are out there, and most people don't know that this is an option. This is still one of those best kept secrets. It's heavily regulated. You're not going to get in trouble for doing it. You don't have to be licensed, because the people that are actually doing it just need to be licensed in the state to convert the policy, the life insurance policy, to get that commission. You can't get paid the commission unless you're licensed. But other than that, I mean, this is simple and easy thing to do. And again, I don't know how Claude's thing works. You can speak to that, but I know with the broker that I worked with, they just put it up for auction, and they let all these different entities bid on it. And again, the sicker you can make yourself look, the more you'll probably get in the form of an offer. So anyway,
forms and applications on the Back Nine website, correct?
Yes, Back Nine website, correct.
This is on the Back Nine website. You're in Boss, and you just look at this left menu here, and you go down to forms and applications, and that's where you find it. You also find a life informal inquiry for a life policy review here. Excuse me, life policy review is here, an annuity policy review is here. If you've got clients, you all have a lot of clients that have enforced life and enforced annuity, so you can do an annuity policy review, a life policy review. The life policy review might result in a favorable rewrite where it goes to a linked benefit policy, or it could translate into a life settlement. As Mark said, we're all hearing these commercials. I assume we're all hearing these commercials about you're on a gold mine, even term insurance. And if your client hears that and is interested in that, that's fine, but recognize, obviously, they are going to a single source there. So if they're going to go to a single source, why wouldn't they want to hear quotes from other sources that might offer them a better deal?
That's a great
Right.
point, Claude.
So
I had that happen to me just this last week. What you just said, Claude, it was a great point. I had an agent bring me a case that the client had already gotten an offer for their life insurance policy, and he was a friend of his and had used him for other purposes. And he said, by the way, I'm thinking about selling my insurance policy, but I don't know if I got the best price. Can you find out? And he brought the case to us, and we ran it up the flagpole, and he was able to find a better price for it. So again, what Claude just suggested, there could be opportunities out there where the client has already made their decision they're going to do something, and you become another outlet for them to find if they can get a better price. So take full advantage.
You go on your social media, you e-blast to your clients, you let them know that this is an opportunity, because as you know, those of us in the insurance industry have always run into problems where some relative or some friend buys something from somebody else that we could have sold them, and for some reason they tell us, "Oh, I didn't know you did that." Right?
Right.
You got to get the message out that you do this, and there's a lot of low hanging fruit. I'm not saying you all have low hanging opportunities for life settlements, but some people out there do. And if you're the one, why ignore it, right? Just, there's, again, let people know all, the variety of things that you do. Mark, you might be able to write up your case example of one of the cases that you did, and that might give, your people on the call something they could e-blast out or put on their social media.
I'll look to do just that. Because again, it just happens when I haven't seen this when it settles and I get the final numbers on it for the client, I'll put that out. But thank you, that's a great suggestion, Claude. We thank you as always for these monthly updates. You bring to us a perspective we just don't get if we didn't have you part of the team. You're a very, very valuable part of the FPS and AIS Senior Supplemental program, and we thank you for your contributions. Okay, I'm taking control back here.
So I wanted to make one other comment, if I could.
Sure. Go ahead. I want to make sure you see how to contact you.
One of the people in your network, has a case that we're getting quoted on for transnationals, and there's a good market there. There's a company or two that seem to be getting aggressive in that market, so we're kind of testing that with this case that came in yesterday, see what we can do, and we'll let you know.
What's that mean, Claude? Transnationals. Yeah, what's that mean?
Transnationals. Well, everybody knows what a trans is, right? Trans is somebody that changes something, right? So
in today's world, we all know it.
This particular, right? So this particular advisor has a couple who spend less than 6 months a year in the U.S., but they have a business here. So we're going to see what we can do. He has another client who spends more than 6 months a year here. So it'll be interesting to see how significant that 6 months quarter is. But anyway, we'll see what we can do. But it's something you might want to look out for, because it seems to me that companies have been becoming somewhat more aggressive in that market.
It's funny, but just as an aside, you said trans thing. I'm watching one of the news shows the other day, and they're talking about the early voting so far, right? And they show a chart, and it says 46% of men have voted, and 53% of the women have voted, right? And then it says 2% other. And I'm saying,
Mhm.
what other? Either you're a man or a woman now, again, but they still have a category for other. I don't know what other was for, but when you say trans, you remind me that there is other in today's world. So, not taking any sides or making any comments, but I found that funny that they
Well,
have other.
I think it's, if people want to characterize themselves as something else, that's up to them. But I don't think we should be grooming people for stuff like that, as I think we do. And it is annoying. Yesterday I heard a newscaster talking about birthing people, and the day before somebody talked about people who are giving birth. If you don't have the courage, it's scary to me in our society that people don't have the courage to say women instead of birthing people and
Right.
people who give birth. I mean, that
It
just
makes no sense.
shows how people are being cowed,
Yeah, you're right.
politically cowed in our country, which is scary,
Well, testimony given,
just amazing.
when they approved the Supreme Court justice and she couldn't define a woman.
Right. So go figure all that.
Still approved onto the
Yeah.
Supreme Court.
I don't want to get caught up in the politics, but still, the fact that there's something beside man or a woman I mean, even if you were a man and decided you're a woman, you're still a woman. It's either you're one or the other. If you're a woman and decided you're a man, and I guess if you're a man and you decide you're a sheep or something,
Promoting
that's
mental illness is I can't even.
I hear you loud and clear on that, and we won't get caught up in it. But I did find it humorous that the poll.
People say trust the science, but of course they only want to trust the science where it's convenient for them. The science about XYZ chromosomes is out the window, right? That's not, don't trust that science.
I don't trust that
because
science.
we don't
Exactly.
Big pharma.
All right, so let's continue. Get away from this. By the way, I won't say any more about this. Thank you, Claude, for being here.
Claude, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. By the way, I was going to give you a movie referral. It has nothing to do with trans, but it slightly does. There's that movie that came out called Conclave about the choosing of a new pope. I absolutely recommend you see it. It's the best movie I've seen so far this year. It's sort of like The Godfather Part 3 meets the Trump campaign, and all the things that go on behind the scenes in the politics of picking a new pope. But I'll let you see it, and then you'll see what the relationship is.
Did you see it theatrically, or did you see it streaming, or how did you view it?
No, I saw it in the theaters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, today starts that movie that looks like it's a sequel, which it makes no sense to me, but it looks like it's a sequel to Forrest Gump. I don't know how they can make a sequel to Forrest Gump. I'm sure I assume the two of you saw Forrest Gump, and she died in the movie. I mean, he's standing over her grave giving speeches about feathers floating in the air, and then here's a new movie starring the two of them, and I don't know.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel? No, because it ends with them dying of old age.
Oh, good. Well, hey.
Go figure. Anyway, it's called Here. I'm going to probably see it this weekend, but Conclave, very well acted. Ralph Fiennes, all-star supporting cast. You should definitely see it.
Well,
okay.
Linda's Catholic, and she saw the trailer and it scared the hell out of her.
Yeah, well, definitely. Again, if you remember your Godfather Part 3, you're talking about as tight a mob family as they come as the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
But let's not get started on that. Okay, a couple of other things to talk about. Lots of carrier support around this stuff. There are no less than 18 attachments coming to you on the link with the recording of this call. 4 of them are around carriers' involvement with LTC Awareness Month. There's going to be a lot more than that over the next, because today's the first day of it. So we're just beginning. But there are 4 emails. These are basically webinars or marketing material you can use to go to your clients with to remind them that it's LTC Awareness Month. I'll probably have more before this call is over, and I'll attach them. So make sure you open it up when you get the replay web email. It's LTC Awareness Month. To me, this has become a sort of, I wish I could tell you that it meant more than it really seems to mean, but it's an opportunity missed if you don't reach out to your database or your clients and let them know that they made a good decision when they decided to go, or if they want to get a complimentary review of their coverage, or for whatever reason, LTC Awareness Month is a good excuse to go out and see people. You're going to see a lot of attachments on the carrier updates. Almost all of them are going to have news about LTC Awareness Month, but some of them have more than that, and that's why I'm going to recommend that you open all of them. This one from Lincoln Money Guard is an invitation for a one-on-one meeting with Steve Moore, who is the guy that is their rep, and he talks about what's working for the Money Guard reps around the country, and he will help customize a marketing plan for you. So again, open up all those attachments and see what's what. You'll see emails too from John Hancock talking about upcoming rate increases on existing long-term care policies and also life policies with LTC riders. Again, all these things represent opportunities to you. I'm not opening them up and showing them to you here because that's why I attach them to the email that comes out for the replay of this. That's what they're there for. Open them up, take a look at them. There's some articles on things you can use with your clients. The cost of home health care caregiving. This has become a big issue. Again, Ms. Harris has in her did it just get large on you? There it goes. Ms. Harris has in her agenda for what she would do if she became president, the idea of letting Medicare pay for, or Medicaid paid for, home health care. That has all the makings of a huge game changer for our business. I believe that if people know they could get home health care included from the government, there'll be a lot less interest in getting a policy to cover the cost of facility care only. And so we've got to watch what happens there. Fortunately, I don't think that there's any way. She might have good intentions about wanting to provide that, but I don't think there's any way for her to pay for it. So all the talk will do us good. If at the end of the day, there's no real right way to pay for it, then I don't know how she's going to get anything approved, especially if she doesn't have both houses of Congress to be on her side. She has one house that's opposed to her political views. She isn't going to be able to get that stuff passed. I included some a concept I've been seeing a lot lately that's gotten some traction. There has been no doubt that finding good ways to find leads that are convertible and make it worthwhile to run your business has been a challenge, especially in this presidential election year. One way that has been successful is if you target states and then you go to your cost of care calculator and you project to them the cost of care in their specific state. And you can do that with, I'll show you an example of that. You can go to LTC News and you can get each state broken down, the cost of home care, the cost of short-term care, the cost of facility care, the cost of daycare, etc. So you can show that, and it seems to it resonates more with an audience when you break it down to their state. There's a brand new Aegis newsletter that came out just yesterday. Again, it goes into a whole lot about the cost of care and you can use. Again, I think Aegis has the best of the newsletters out there, so you can always find articles to share. And Buddy Inns literally came out with their November newsletter this morning, so this will give you a advanced copy of that newsletter to be able to use some of that information that you might share with your clients. Okay, here's the thing about life settlements. Again, I wanted you to know that in addition to what Claude has available to you and the tools that are great that he has, if you have a case, call me. I will gladly introduce you to the people I've been dealing with in the past. And again, we'll play all ends against the middle and we'll see what's the best deal you can get. My whole thing is they have to give you advantages or otherwise you're going to do business elsewhere. So you might as well take full advantage of that through me. So call me if you want and we'll see if we can't help get the best offer for your clients. And again, the amount of money you can earn is pretty impressive. So wanted you to know about that. Any observations at all from the field? Either one of you, Walter, Michael, either one of you doing any kind of Medicare supplement business? I assume not.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, Walter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's the market like today?
Well,
Is there-
I'm not doing that much to be in it. I'm just getting referrals or somebody, asked me to talk to their so-and-so and that kind of
I don't know
thing.
anything about it, so I'm not going to pretend to, but I do know this. My personal carrier, which was Aetna, pulled out of the state. So that makes, that makes for a whole lot of opportunity. And I've heard from a zillion people, of course, as always, but again, specifically saying your carrier no longer offers coverage, you need to find a new carrier. So I'm meeting with some people in the Medicare side to be able to do that here in Texas. But it just seems to me that it's robust. I have no real handle on it, so I don't know if it's better than normal or the same as normal, or if it's getting locked out by all this political stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a read on it.
You said Aetna's pulling out for the Medicare supplement?
Yeah, hi Scott. I know you're on. For I think it's their Medicare Advantage. That's what I had was Medicare Advantage, so that's what they canceled. Not in every state, just in Texas.
No, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, well, hey, between you, me, and the lamppost, I don't blame them. You know what my medical bills were last year under their Medicare Advantage program? Well, in excess of $600,000. So
That's why they're pulling out.
But yeah, that's right. I'm probably the single reason why. So I mean, I don't understand how they can afford to be in it, but I think my cost of that was like $1,400. They paid the rest of it. Now they didn't pay it all because they negotiate what they actually pay, but I have no idea what they paid. But I saw the retail bill going up with the hospital stays and everything else that's what I know about was an excess.
Your plan probably has like a $5,000 stop loss or $2,500 stop loss. So
something like that. Yeah, I'm protected, but again, I don't know how to make that math work. And again, it's mandatory.
What do you want to look at? You want to look at United Healthcare?
Well, no, I've got a bunch of people shopping. It seems like it's coming down to a couple of. I have to go back and look and see who it is. I haven't had my meeting yet. I'll let you know in case there's something there, Scott. You can tell me, but it's again. I don't know how long they can continue this stuff. How can you continue to pay the kind of exposure that you have with the baby boomers now being well in their upper 70s to the expenses that you have caught with this, and people get sick and they have these kind of outrageous bills that they have to deal with. Someone's got to pay the piper. I don't know, but that's just one man's observation.
What's your zip code?
What's that, Scott?
What's your zip code?
75009. How's the Medicare business been for you so far? Robust?
So.
So.
I mean, I run into the people, Illinois doesn't have a dual special needs plan.
I
You know,
see.
so when you get people that want to be on that are on Medicare and Medicaid at the same time,
How do you afford to
um,
do that? How can you be on Medicare and Medicaid at the same time?
well, the state's picking up a lot of your expenses.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but don't you
so
have to have the
Medicaid.
income qualifications in order to do that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of these people see the commercials on TV saying, "Hey, you're entitled to an $1,800 food card,"
Yeah,
and then you
right.
get a phone call, and the first question is, "Well, are you dual eligible? Are you on Medicare and Medicaid?"
I didn't know you could
And
be
they'll
on
say,
both.
no. Oh yeah, you can be on both.
You know,
Yeah,
I started physical therapy this last week for the first time since I had been diagnosed. And one of the reasons I had to go to physical therapy was I had a home health physical therapist coming to the house. I had an occupational therapist coming to the house. I had a nurse coming to the house, and I had I don't know, someone that just observes the overview of all the different care. So I had 4 different people on a rotation basis coming to my house multiple times a week. Well, they came to me and they said, "We can no longer come see you at the house." And I said, "Why is that?" And they said, "Because you finally got your diagnosis and it's a fatal illness and you're not going to get better. So as a result, Medicare won't cover you because you're not going to get better. But the good news is you can get physical therapy." So now I'm going to physical therapy, which is a lot more intense and better than the home therapy I was getting. But my point to you was that again, I was no longer eligible for Medicare. So how is it that I would be
what's your
dual eligible?
how old are you?
69. I know you can't believe a man of my such youth look could
Yes,
be 69. Yes, but go ahead.
but I mean, Medicare. I mean, so Medicare's sitting there and saying that you're not entitled
No, because I'm
to.
not going to get better. Medicare was only supposed to be a recovery benefit, and you have to prove that you're going to get better.
Huh.
So there you go. Again, and
Yeah,
I'm not
and that makes
poor
sense.
enough to get Medicaid. So if I had to pay those $600,000 bills, I'd get there quick. Anyway,
Yes.
just a matter of the status of our business.
The Medicare Advantage plan picks up, you pay what, 30 bucks a therapy session?
Can't think
Not
of
even
it.
that in some cases. Yeah, well, in some cases I had a copay of $20, $25, but in some cases there's no copays. So, and on this physical therapy, no copays.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, and it's around the corner from me. I plan to go, and what an impressive gym it is. I mean, they got everything, and they only take one patient in at a time, so I have like an hour and a half with them one-on-one. So I'm like, I like this. All right. Um, let's finish with this. I did write a little quick note here on what success looks like. It's one page only. I put it all in one so we didn't have to go through too much of it. I was thinking about the fact that since I started back in long-term care, 1991, and at the time in right outside of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in a little town called Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. Um, and the population of that whole county, Horry County, spelled with an H, so I'll let you go where you want with that joke. But Horry County was like 35,000 people. But in the summertime, it would swell to about 250,000 people a day coming in to Myrtle Beach in this for the summer. And I built a heck of a initial career when you had to see people across the kitchen table in long-term care business because again, I didn't know better. So when somebody said to me, "You need to go see 15 people a week," that God bless you, by the way, that's what I did. I went and saw 15 people, 5 people a day, 3 days a week, or 3 people a day, 5 days a week. But I saw 15 people, or I set 15 appointments. I would see an average of 12 people a week. But from that point, I had a really long run of success in the long-term care business, and not first as a top producer, and then as a manager, and then as running my own national career shop, and then for Transamerica at the time, then getting involved with at Axia, and then later becoming president of Axia and the like. I'd seen the whole lifespan of this business, and so have many of you. All three of you that are on this call, I know, have been in it long enough to see the path that we've gone down. And again, if I look at all the thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people I worked with, and like, all of them came saying the same thing. They wanted to have and find success. And the truth is, I never found anyone who truly, really wanted to be successful that couldn't find a way to make it. Though the vast majority of the people did not make it. They just lied to themselves. They wanted to be successful, but they didn't want to work to do it. And the thing that always drove whether or not you were successful was whether or not you drove your activity. Right? So everybody comes to you and they say, "What's the secret?" And there is no secret. The secret is knowing your products and driving your activity. And everybody keeps looking for the lightning in the bottle and the special genie and what's the magic words and all the other things. And the truth is, if you want to be successful, you can if you want to. Now, the truth is, too, that there is much smaller group, my guesstimate is around 50 or so people left in the country who make a hefty 6-figure income, and in some cases a 7-figure income, being a long-term care solution specialist. So the broad tapestry of people that could be successful in its heyday is no longer there, and the people that have or been successful, like, have pretty much aged out of the business. I mean, the average age of a long-term care solution specialist today is way in the upper 60s, if not already into the early 70s, and they're living off a renewal book. That's what's keeping them going. But there's still an opportunity to build a very boutique and successful practice in this space. Here's what I've learned. Success is not a matter of luck. It's not an accident because, if you were born to the right people or under the right star or anything like that. It's a matter of, as you see on the street in that third paragraph there, it's a matter of decision, commitment, planning, preparation, executing, and constantly finding new ways to recommit and keep it fresh for yourself. Success doesn't come to you. You have to go to it. Again, it reminds me of that famous line from Rounders, the movie about poker players back in the early aughts of the 2000s, where he says, "Sometimes you have to let your destiny find you." That's what happens with success. You have to do all the things I talked about above and let it find you, right? There's plenty of, at this point, there's plenty of and there's no trailblazing going on. When most of us started in the business, all of us have started in the business, because I'm talking to the 3 people that are on this phone that I know of, nobody knew what long-term care was. We had to educate people to all that. All that's behind us now. This is a well-traveled path, but you have a passion for it or you don't. And if you do, you can then still make a decent buck in this business. You just got to have the hunger and the appetite and to go out and do it. But that's what success looks like. And I just thought I'd share that with you while you're in the midst of doing what you're doing, trying to get your Medicare business going. All right, with that, I don't have anything else. Anybody have any questions or anything else they want to bring up? No?
Which county are you in?
Denton.
Okay.
Maybe
Email you
looking.
some.
Okay, yeah, I want to say Humana is one of the ones they're looking at. I don't know. I find out next week. I'll let you know. And I'll be interested to see what you have to say. Okay. If there's no questions, then